Kickin' hyperbole, poetry is on the way. Kickin' hyperbole, the poetry kettle is whistling, yay. Kickin' hyperbole, poetry and life and death and discussion. Sometimes hyperbole, sometimes hyperbole, and cake poetry is on the way.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
We survived National Poetry Month, Amy.
We thrived National Poetry Month, Angela.
We
It was
did.
awesome.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna say we rocked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna make that judgment call. So
I'm gonna agree with that right now. So.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who came to first Breakfast Poetry, and then, well, I guess you just called it Breakfast Poetry, but Breakfast Poetry.
Live. Yep.
And then second Breakfast Poetry, which was always noon because that's my breakfast. And hello, Nina.
Right.
Nina just joined us.
Hi, Nina. Oh,
I'm
Nina.
way out of focus. Okay, back.
I'm like got my charger in, so it looks like when I try to look at you, I'm looking over here, and it's crazy. So I'm trying to. That's always fun with lives. I'm just gonna figure out how to sit here.
Cool. And by the way, you're very, very glamorous today. I really
thank you.
That.
There's my poetry tiara that I made the last week of National Poetry
Month. Bling. Just we are classing it up. I have eyeliner on.
Ooh la la.
Class A.
Yeah, you've been rocking that eyeliner. I have to say, it's pretty fab.
Yeah, just don't look too close, because
I can't. I'm 47. I can't see that. I can't.
Oh, good. That's why we're friends.
You look marvelous. So there you go.
On Facebook, I was like, after the makeup thing I did on Ryan for his 4th, May the 4th be with you stream, I did that. And I was like, wait a second. How is it that I can do this complicated makeup thing on you, but I can't get my 2 little eyeliner things to be the same size? What?
Oh, I know. And then you're just like, because I used to do that sometimes too. And it was like, okay, I got this one. And then this one looks completely different. And then my little son goes, can you wipe that off, please? I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to keep this up. I'd like to. I would like to develop this skill, but he was very anxious young youth. So
yes, that was mine when I would wear lipstick and stuff. It was very disturbing for the sons.
Yes. Yeah, I almost, when I was in like my doom and gloom times for various reasons, I was like, I'm gonna just dye my hair like platinum. A lot of these girls are doing like this platinum silver, and I was like, oh Lord, my kid is 3 years old and he cannot sleep through the night without some sort of interaction. And if I go in there with ghost hair, he is gonna lose it completely. Irrevocable, irreversible damage will I do.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I was just kind of like, that's all right. I'll just dye it wine colored for a few months, and that was good. That's good.
That's so funny.
Poor lamb.
Nina says, very Upper West Side, Amy. So compliments from Nina over here.
Thank you, Nina. Nina is a very wonderful, supportive part of our poetry experience. Sent a wonderful poem that I didn't see until a couple of days ago. And you know what? I actually emailed you this morning at the last minute. I should have done it on Instagram, Nina. I should have to say, hey, can we read that today? But if not, I didn't print it out, so I'm ill prepared. But I can read it on third Sunday or whatever if we have your permission, because it was a joy. I really enjoyed the whole feel of that poem and the setting and the atmosphere and all the children in the shoe and everything. Oh, I really loved it.
Yeah, I'm actually calling that up now. I'm so glad you said that, because this has been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where my brain is. Yeah, the Stokers is coming up. But yeah, that was a gorgeous poem. And I don't know if I replied or not, but I kind of remember thinking like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to reply. And then like life exploded. You know that Tulsa weekend I took? I came back to, this was not a complaint to all the people that I say, like, email me. But I'm complaining a little bit because everybody seriously waited until I went on that trip and then emailed me. And I came back to 75 emails over that weekend. And I still had emails.
Yeah,
and
regular flow of email.
Yeah, I'm still digging myself out. But, you know, I'm open to emails. Email me. But if I don't reply immediately, that's why.
Yes. That's what they say on all those big time podcasts. Okay, sorry, we're really bad at reading email, or we get so much email we can't just deal with it all at once.
Yeah.
There's daily tasks as well, and keeping.
Yeah.
You've got StokerCon coming up. That's so fabulous. And Angela's up for what? 2? Are you up for 2?
Yeah, 2. Yeah. Actually, one of them involves Nina and Siren's Call, because it's my nonfiction short essay in Siren's Call, which is Nina Dark Angela's publication, who is on the screen calling us hot poet and hot soda thief.
Brilliant. When I looked at the clock, Nina, and saw that it was time to get on my pre-poetry call with Angela, I was just about to print out a black and white, because we don't have a color printer, thing of that poster you made for Angela.
That was hilarious.
So funny. And I did print off some of the comments that ensued, where Pete was saying, Pete will be featured here in moments, but where he was saying that he was like going to be arrested because he'd been peddling hallucinism. And he was doing a deal when the crossfire hit. I was like, this is a magical community that has gathered around us, and I'm so grateful. It's fabulous. So
yeah, me too. Yeah. And it's just getting bigger and better all the time.
It is. Everybody come join. Welcome.
Oh, Nina says she's going to send it to you. Send you a copy of that.
Yes. Okay, goody gumdrops. That will definitely be showing up around and about, because that was a hoot.
That is actually going to be my retirement plan, is I'm going to turn in the hot soda thief and claim the reward. And then I will retire. Probably in prison somewhere.
When Nina quoted the reward in pesos, and it was like $1,300. I'm like, I don't make that much as a poet. Let's do this. Let's get her right down to the coppers, because that is a hoot.
I will turn myself in, and we'll split the money.
Awesome. I'll just take, you know what? I'm easy. I'll take 20%, and then I'll go buy myself some beads for another tiara. But I will say that I wasn't going to do art wraiths right away. You guys remember art wraiths? I'm going to quickly tell the story. Just my own outflow of obsessive poetry about like post-punk musicians and the like. And then somebody
from you?
I know. Just take a breath. Everybody sit down. Hang on to something. That is the truth about Amy. And one of my artist friends who had sent us poetry for National Poetry Month was having one of those moments of lament where you're like, oh my gosh, this is an impossible love for this musician. Nothing will ever happen. I was like, write it into a poem. We're going to start a collaborative work of poetry called Art Wraiths. And it's going to be so cool. We're not going to make any money off of it, but it'll be so fun. And all the while I'm thinking, and now I won't be the only weirdo who is pouring out all of this poetry all of the time. Angela herself promised a David Bowie poem.
I will be doing that. Probably David Bowie and Robert Smith, because,
that'll be for volume 2. Because while I was, Robert Smith, it's true. While I was waiting for everybody, because I was like, yeah, the poetry is in the mail. I just know it. And so I'm still writing it. And I'm still writing it, and no poetry is coming into my inbox from other people. And I'm like, well, damn, I have like 40 odd poems and some artwork. So I was just trying to learn Papyrus Author, which Angela did a tutorial on, and it was very easy to use. And I thought I was gonna do it with one of my other groups of poems that I've been sitting on, because I didn't know what to do with them. But I was like, I really want to spend some time with art wraiths, because I love this. I mean, do you ever write something and you're like, I enjoy this?
This has to happen. I have to share this.
Self-indulgent. So my deal was I just wanted to hang out with it while I was learning Papyrus, and it was easy. And then I started adding artwork to it, and I was like, and it's just black and white artwork. Some of the artwork's in color, but only the cover will be in color, but it's already pushed through. It's like they're right now reviewing it to make sure I haven't plagiarized or put in something naughty.
Oh, that is so exciting.
But so that I was going to say that for my birthday month, which is September. But then I was like, but if I die, nobody else is going to do that. So I'm not planning on dying, but there's always that. If I die, what's going to happen to art wraiths? Well, it's going to be out there. So I'll be, of course, talking more about that.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you for showing me all these ropes. I love it.
Oh, yeah. And Author Papyrus, by the way, I actually stopped teaching. I mean, I was filming that class, and then they did after I was like halfway done, they did an update. And so I'm like, well, now all of that stuff where you can access, and I haven't like looked at it, which is why I haven't refilmed the class, but there's all the tools where you can have like your more of the Scrivener writer type tools. that used to be what you had to pay for. Now it's free. So I'm like, well, I want to show everything. I don't want to just show that. So I'm like, I'll just do the whole thing again. But then, Tulsa weekend and StokerCon. And so, just give me a minute. I will do that. But I'm super excited because Author Papyrus opens up the playing field for everybody, because publishing with a company, not a company, publishing with a publisher is not for everybody. You may have that weird little project that is just your heartthrob bucket list item that has to come out. Yes. You can self-publish it, and then publishers are awesome for what publishers do, but it just gives everybody a little more flexibility. So, and gives the publishers a break too, because they want to publish everything. And they can't.
It's a process. It's a long process with a publisher, just because of the way they do it. And I love how you brought up, if you've got that weird, I feel like all of my stuff is a weird little thing. And also I don't have to change anything in it. If I am a exacting editor. So I know things are going to be spelled right and all this stuff, but it's like, I don't have to, if they think that something doesn't fit in, I don't have to take lines out. I don't have to rearrange the order. It is my vision. Complete, and it is. I can't say enough.
I will say though, we need to make a pact right here and right now. And you know how these pacts happen, like then something else like Cake and Hyperbull starts. Our pact needs to be, if either one of us dies, the other one will go through their computer, pull out all their poetry and artwork and stuff, and publish it as is. Like no editing, person's dead, cannot approve. Here it is.
Yes, we'll have to give each other our whatever, I'll just share every Google Doc or whatever. And you just get on the computer.
I'm having a heart attack. Quick, I have to invite Amy to all my projects.
That's right. Oh, here's my password. It'll just come up. I'll be an option on if you go up to the computer in my husband's study. Just there it is. It comes up as an option.
Amy says I need to go through your computer and get all her artwork out. That's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, because Amy is a high earner. Wink. That's okay. You know what? The fact that I get to, at this point in my life, for however long, spend my time wallowing in art and poetry. However short I get to spend my time doing that, it is like a win. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So.
The last week I had like kind of an angry blow, actually brought to tears by this, but I had a project that I was promised a certain sum of money for.
Yes.
And then that didn't happen. I didn't sign a contract or anything. That's my bad. Right. And but it was kind of like one of those, like, yes, it's this much. And then once the project was done, it was like, oh, well, how about just your hourly rate? Even though it was a rush job that you turned around and dropped everything for Yeah. And I got really upset because I knew that I should have had a contract. That's, that's on me.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. And then I was just like, why am I so bad with money? And then in the end, which I haven't gotten paid yet, but we did come to half. Like at least it was brought to half, which is better. Because it's basically my Brazil trip. Like if I do not get paid, I don't go to Brazil next month and see my daughter. So I really do want to do this.
Yes.
But in the process of me being so upset, I was really like, why am I just a stupid poet? Why am I a stupid writer? Writers don't make any money. Why couldn't I be something, actually important? And then I remembered, and I usually do have this memory. Yeah. Money, the point of money is to make our lives easier and bring us joy. And if we already have that, like we're not starving, yes, I maybe can't go to Brazil if I don't get paid this. I will, though. It'll be longer. I just have to do other things.
Wait a little longer.
Yeah, so it's not like, but yeah, money, I think we tend to tie it up in our culture with emotion and worth. And it's not. It is literally the junk thing that ain't even real. It's based on faith. There's nothing backing that money except our belief in it.
And boy, do we believe.
Yeah. So that calmed me down. So whatever happens with that, whatever, I'm right
there with you. Poet and artist. Who freaks out about money, and it's probably a good thing that somebody does, is my husband. And I had him really excited because I was like, you know what I think I might do? Actually, he suggested it, and it was something I had been thinking about for a few days. just a few days, which is good because it deflated and because of money. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go be like an art teacher. And oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, you know how much college cost almost 30 years ago when I did it the first time? Too freaking much. And now I'm 47. It costs more, and it will take me. I have a Bachelor of Arts in German. If I want to get teaching certification, state of Missouri, and art classes necessary to be an art teacher, which is booming right now. I just keep getting like all these like Indeed things about, hey, art, this, like everyone's like fleeing their art job because of COVID or something. And I was like, 3 years, it will take me 3 years to complete that. By that time, that's like gamble. That's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is, the boom may be over, you know, the slots may be filled. And I'm like, I can't gamble on that and spend my precious few remaining years comparatively to when I was 21.
Yeah.
You know, just paying back loans. And so I was like very discouraged by that, but I'm going to like I think I'm going to send my resume to some places and be like, you know what, maybe you can figure in the fact that I have sold art and I do make art and I'm a poet and I do a poetry show. Somebody may be a romantic who is in charge of that. And so I'm going to take some chances, but I find the education system pretty rigid.
It is. But that's the thing is it's really losing its power. Be an adjunct professor. I was teaching, because adjunct just means you don't have a degree, even though it sounds kind of like fancy. I'm an adjunct professor.
It's a beautiful word.
Yeah, I like it when I sound more important and educated than I actually am.
Not just a professor, an adjunct professor.
One.
Life experience. Thank you.
Yeah, but I was teaching in a college in Niceville as an adjunct professor. I was teaching 3 classes. You can do that. I have.
Maybe.
I will tell you all, I will be completely honest. I have an 8th grade education.
Yeah.
I quit school in whatever that first year is. So you can tell I have an 8th grade education.
Freshman, like that's 9th grade.
Yeah, freshman. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Right,
I quit school. I went to like a month or 2 of 9th grade and I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm out because I have a choice. I don't know how I knew I had a choice, but I was like, oh, hell no.
I love that you knew that. My son was like, he knew he hated it. And I knew he'd be all right if he left, you know?
Yeah.
And my husband took some time to come to terms on that, but he's got a 10th grade. And so he's wrangling it. He's figuring life out. And I mean, you know, there's the 20th century was so opinionated, but only the last half, because like both of my grandmothers had 8th grade education.
Yeah, my grandmother had an 8th grade education, and then all my kids just tested out with their GED. I mean, I do have my GED. I tested out. I was actually tested out early though, so if I want to sound smart, I always say, "Oh yes, I graduated early." You know, well, I quit school and got my GED early, and that's what all my kids did, just on their own, because they all also went to school. But you know, some people love school.
It works.
So
I loved it. My husband loved it, you know, and it's like, it works for a lot of people. My sister's a teacher, but I think it's important to recognize that it doesn't work for everyone. And I also think it's starting to work for fewer and fewer people, you know?
Yeah. And there's so much pressure on teachers now. Like well, besides all the constraints and then the pay and then the, you know, and you could go to jail because you showed the wrong poster. That was one of the schools that I worked for.
Oh my gosh.
A teacher got, I don't think she went to jail, but there was like charges brought against her and stuff. And literally, and it was a hate thing. There was a bunch of people gunning for her. And she was the crazy art teacher, the one that would kind of be like, you know what? Just be free, no rule. You know, she was that teacher. I loved her, by the way. Yeah, she was amazing. Yeah. And she hung a poster up in her room. And I believe it was just a guy with no shirt on or something, like from Twilight, like kind of a sexy poster, but not a
that's young adult.
Yeah. And he was looking pretty sexy. And that's what they said, she was showing nudity in the classroom.
Looking for
Well, yeah. And I was the janitor in this school. I was not the adjunct professor. I was the janitor. So, you know, perceptions.
Right.
Do not matter, you know, because I think I was actually adjunct professoring at the college while I was janitoring at the middle school. But anyways, horrific story. The vice principal and a bunch of teachers, I mean, this is after hours. I'm like cleaning up and doing something. And they ran by in their heels And I heard one of them say, yeah, we're going to pin that bitch to the wall. These are teachers, mind you. And
in charge of the children.
In charge of the children. Yeah. And I was kind of like, who are they talking about? You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything that was going on. And then the vice principal saw me out of the corner of her eye. She stopped because janitors are usually invisible. Love that. Any secrets? Who knows who the killer is? Ask the janitor. We knew everything. But it was a vice principal stopped me or saw me, stopped, and she said, and don't you say a word about this. I mean, vicious. And I was just like, okay, I don't even know what you guys are doing.
Yeah, you're like, all I heard was nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what I heard. I'm going to tell that story later after. I don't need your stupid job anymore.
Yeah. That is the trick.
Hello, Nassau. We got Nassau in here. Nassau is the translator for Space and Time magazine.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, he speaks like a dozen languages. I mean, not a dozen, but for me, practical purposes, he may as well be a million. You know.
See, yeah, no kidding. And that is so fabulous because you can now read poetry in all these other languages. And if I had like unlimited time and money, I would just be learning languages for the express purpose of reading, you know, poetry in. I would really like to read poetry in French and Japanese if I could. But me, it's just me and German and English at this point. And my German is you know, since college. A long time. But I'm
trying to be better about sharing comments, so that's why I'm kind of like popping these up here. Yes, I agree, Nina. And no, I did not soccer for that one because I really needed that job. But
yeah, that's the trick.
I do love telling that story and pointing out, you know, when you think that the teacher is the authority or the doctor or the lawyer or always use your own judgment because these are people. And a lot of times they don't necessarily care about us, you know, so.
They've got their own agendas.
And sometimes they're freaking evil. I'm just going to put it out there.
They're friggin' tax money too. But I didn't worry about that when I took my kid out of school when he was having anxiety and hiding under the table. But when he was in elementary school, I was just like, okay, he needs a break from running into a brick wall every single day. And he needs to learn that learning is joyful. And boy, do we have a good time. Fabulous time. So on that note, I'll show my little block print of, oh golly, now I can't remember her name. I think it's Emma Hennings. Anyway, she's one of the Dada poets, but my little poem that went with it when I was doing the poetry, not poet portraits, last year, the poem pictures. Our cabaret gives place to all your glitter, all your art, all your cussings of the heart.
Oh, I love that.
That's my message. Okay, onward.
Cussings of the heart. Yes, and we should, since we are caking Hyperbull poetry, we should probably do some poetry. Poetry is on the way.
It's definitely on the way. That's why we talk so long. We say that because we talk so long before we actually get
to it. We like to keep it on the way as a goal.
It's just like it's perpetually on the way. You get it, you know.
Yeah. What do you want to start with? I've got 3 videos from Pete. I have that exquisite corpse that I have been promising forever from the Colorado HWA chapter, HWA Colorado Chapter. And I have a contuum that I just built with a bunch of young, vibrant, amazing writers.
Well, you've got some good stuff. Why don't you share a Pete, and then I'll read a Jim poem, and then you can kind of move on with all
and then we'll just kind of roll.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a Pete Kelly, and we all know and love Pete and his amazing voice. And he sent us three short ones. So I'm going to play them interspersed throughout our little thing today.
All right.
Hello, it's Pete. I'm here with a couple of poems. The first one is my first. Dank walls of suffocation, withdrawing my breath, sucking all imaginations till there is nothing left. Reasons for my squalor are lost in scant reminisce, such as this life passing, a dull pain one forgets. Far removed from feeling, cold from constant misery, once only did pain relieve, though now does not affect me. A small square of light above once played with my hope, foolishly held within a decay till a voice in my head spoke. It said, "Love me like no other, so I can fulfill your dreams, to render such a lowly life far from what it seems. A mind is caressed as senses burn from love's heat, a body overcome with emotions, desiring to be complete. With what was once lost to the bricks of my prison, now feelings run wild as blood courses within. Feeling eyes upon me halts my euphoria. I search the gloom till my eyes fall upon her. At first a ghostly form, more tangible as she nears, eyes never leaving mine as she glides upon air. Fear tells me to flee, though reason knows not where. I yield, accepting my fate, falling deeply into her stare. Her lips brush my ear as she whispers her troth. Feel your heart pained for the last time, my love. She finds my heart. Her hands close round. Teeth puncture my neck. As to her am I bound. My chest stutters and heaves from such pain and pleasure. My neck arches to her feeding, an eternal kiss to treasure. She cuts her breast. She guides my thirst. She feeds my hunger. She is my love, my first. Thank you.
Muted both of us, and I forgot to unmute us, but woo!
I was clapping.
Pete is, yeah. Pete is awesome.
You know, that has a thread of similarity to a poem that I've been working on for a couple of months, off and on, that I want to send to Siren's Call. Deadline May 15th, if you want to submit to Siren's Call for the next one. And so I was tweaking that a little here and there, and I'm like, oh, so it's a little bit similar in the sense that mine's more of a ghost than a vampire. But Pete, please collect your vampire and otherwise poetry. Make a book. I mean, we love the performance of it. The performance is so engrossing, but I would still take a book and be glad to revisit those over and over. So that's just the word.
And all the drama and the black screen and his voice. Ooh, very.
Yes. I hope, Pete, that you don't mind. I took a couple of screenshots during that because here's my plan. One of my future don't know when projects is first part of National Poetry Month. I did like 47 poet portraits for the 100 Day project. And I am going to do a little ebook, just an ebook, because of all the color, and would be way too expensive as an actual book. And I don't have an actual publisher or art book publisher. I will do an ebook called like The Poets and Why They're Cool, the ones I chose to draw. I want to end it with poets that I know, like Angela's lipstick portrait. Maybe I will draw Pete. There was a poet I knew in college who went on to be like an academic poet, but he is no longer with us. And so maybe kind of end it with people that I know. So that's just a thought brewing in my mind. And then I just tell a little bit about, I mean, it's not a scholarly work. It's like, well, I chose this guy because he knew Arthur Rimbaud, and look at his top hat. You know, it's going to be completely like why I did it. But the art is also a feature. So give me a break, right? so
I think that sounds super cool.
That'd be so much fun. So it'll take some time because I got like 50 poets to go through, but it'll be fun to work on. So I like it.
And that's the cool thing that I see happening in our group. And this is something that I had often pondered, is like, how do these things like Soho, how does Soho happen? How do you suddenly get a team, like not a team, but a group of incredible artists that are all so unique and original? And my theory is that they were all okay artists. And then they got together and they started sharing and supporting each other. And by doing that, they changed. That is an alchemical response, that sharing. And then they all incredibly blossomed. And that's kind of what I see in our community. We have like these people like Nina and Pete and Gina and I can't
Like
remember.
Jim.
Yeah, I was like,
whose
there's
poem
all
you're
these
reading.
names suddenly screaming
Yeah.
at me, and
Yeah.
Rena, and like, so this huge group, and we are sitting here whipping each other up. Like, I've changed my work a lot because of your work. You have so much vivacious energy and glitter and life and love and light, and so that has kind of entered my graveyards, and like, become happier. Like, there's joy there in the graveyard, and so I kind of think that we are starting our own little online Soho, and we're all boosting each other and elevating. And yeah, I'm super excited to find out what happens.
I love that because, I look at places like, Paris in the 1920s, Berlin, like West Berlin in the early 80s. And I would have intense moments of like, Lord, it's just not fair that I'm not surrounded. And now it's like more and more, we are kind of surrounding each other, sharing what we do. Everybody is gaining fuel from everyone. You have been a huge encouragement to me because I was always
vice
like
versa.
Very secret poet, very secret artist for a long time. And it was just like, now I'm like, well, my gosh, now I can use Papyrus and I can just put stuff on Kindle Direct and I can sell my stuff on Amazon. And it's like, what do you do when you're making all this poetry? And like, they're going to think I'm plagiarizing because I could release a book a month for the rest of the year just because of crap I've accumulated. So I'll try not to do that. I want to let them breathe a little, but yes, I agree with you. What a glorious community is kind of gelling around
we're
us.
making our own Soho right here, people.
Yes,
someday, 50 years, somebody will look back on this video and they'll go, oh yes, that's when that group of artists was doing this and that. And we call that the beginning of the dark glitter movement.
Oh, writing that down.
Whatever that means.
Where'd I put that? That is so fabulous. The dark glitter movement.
On that note,
here we go.
I would love to read the HWA Colorado Chapter Poets, Exquisite Corpse. Because I promised so long that I was going to do this. I had a workshop with them in February, and we built an exquisite corpse together. And then my email exploded, and my life exploded, and I never actually built the exquisite corpse. And every month I think I've been saying it. So I love Nina's comment here. Hot Soho it up. That's what we're doing. So this is the hot Soho movement.
Ooh, that is also going in the notebook. This is gold.
That's way better than dark glitter.
I love them both, but yeah, this will definitely.
It's the dark glitter hot Soho movement.
Yeah, or the chapter of the hot Soho. All that stuff.
There's going to be a lot of movement here.
Oh yes. All right.
And I would make a haiku joke because that just came out, but that's for another time. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Go ahead.
This is I got to meet with the HWA Colorado chapter in February. I was trying to remember what month it was now. In February, and I was talking about poetry, and they were all pretty new poets, was my impression. Like, they were wanting to find out about poetry. And so we did an exquisite corpse. They sent me these lines. I believe that the prompt was new beginnings. I think that was the prompt. And so so how an exquisite corpse works for everybody who, may not be familiar with it. It is a community built poem. It is one of my favorite ways to build poetry because literally everybody is a part of it. Everybody is an equal part of the poem. And then one person puts it together, kind of moves the lines around to make some kind of form. So it's one person really building poetry out of all of these contributions. And they wind up being the best poems, especially if you think nobody knew what anybody was submitting. And yet it will, every single time, goes together so beautifully. So
yes,
that's the long spiel about what in the heck is this. And this time, because they gave the poets' names down here, but they didn't, I don't know who did what line. So just to keep them separate, I did them in different colors.
I like that.
Yeah, I like how it looks.
Gorgeous.
So
So
I called it, and I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing this word right, Ouroboros. It's the snake that swallows its tail.
Oh yeah, gosh, I don't know. I don't think I've ever looked up the pronunciation. Okay,
I should.
we know.
Yeah, so
Ouroboros. Snake
I'm going to say Ouroboros. If that is wrong, you can go ahead and correct me. It might actually be a dialect thing. I'll go with that.
Yes.
In my dialect, I pronounce it Ouroboros.
Right, exactly.
So, but anyways, I will read this. The serpent swallows its tail, a beginning to an ending, a beginning. Time to open up again, but the past persists, and the resistance begins, and the flesh, it seethes and seeps, come to replace its mimic self. Waves of heat, a barest brush of your fingertips. Your touch reignites. Slack lips slough first, then static heart, devoured by lush loam that reunites the buried beloved. Gradually, incrementally appreciable, melt drips from the high frozen, seeping into cold, barren ravines, becoming trickling streams, fighting to fill dry chasms, pushing precious droplets of life outward, forward into the unknown, into the unexpected. A soul encased in winter's icy blow. It yearns for laughing snow melt, verdant touch, and friends who didn't make it through the snow. Does hope remain to live again? Too much? I miss you. So I weave a bit of my hair with yours, mix a little blood, and watch the ground for movement. I don't remember you this way. And that is by the Horror Writer Association Colorado Chapter poets, which, again, I will probably be butchering some of these names, but Sachin Maddox Creech, Angela Sylvain, Karina Bissett, Shannon Lawrence, Travis Heeman, Sarah Lisa and Anne Zaldua, and I apologize, Sarah Lisa, CSW, Hillary Dodge, and Sam Knight. And fabulous lines. Fabulous freaking lines.
That was beautiful. Is there going to be a place where we can reread that, or is it going somewhere?
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to, I haven't gotten the yes on this, but I'm going to purchase it for Space and Time for the fall issue and credit all of them. And they may not know that yet. So, if you're watching, surprise. But I had talked about that at that time. I'd said that we can do that, or that will probably wind up happening. And then I'm going to read it. That little nightly show that I've been doing, I'm going to read it again on, I think, next Tuesday, because they found out last night that I finally did it. And so I feel a little bit bad that they don't get to know about it ahead of time and maybe, see it live or chat or something. So I will read it again on that. I think it's next Tuesday.
Cool.
I know it's right before StokerCon because I was like, I can do this.
Yes, you can. It's there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but they did such a good job. I love Exquisite Corpses. So
yeah, and they really put their guts into that. That was some beautiful writing. Oh, congratulations, all of you all.
Yeah, good job. And Nina says I did pronounce Ouroboros. I have to look at the word Ouroboros.
Good.
Correctly. So
awesome. Now we have both that pronunciation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, well done, guys. I love doing that.
Let me read one from our friend of all of our poetry stuff that we do, Jim Hill. Jim, I would also like a collection if you're watching, because I do enjoy your brand of poetry as well. Certainly. There's music to it, and I like it. Okay, this is called Light to Dark. Where skin touches air, I delight. Where light fades in late afternoon, I become the night, evolving into a backdrop of dramas and comedic errors played out, exhausted, and spent on interminable regrets and desires unmet, wanting no one to know what I've yet to hide in the dark.
Oh,
Jim Hill.
Thank you, Jim. That. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I have to confess that when I was going through the poetry that I was about to print out, I saw a glimpse of that and I was like, oh, I thought it was like, did I write that? Oh no, it's Jim. I was all excited about myself. Disappointed. It wasn't me. So well done, you, Jim. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, it's nice when we inspire jealousy for each other, because it's good. Exactly. It spurs us on. That's part of that whole hot Soho movement.
Exactly, it is. That's a good thing. It's a compliment. So what's today? The 7th. I'm writing down when I read it so I don't accidentally read it again without reading something else that's waiting to be read. So yay. Awesome.
All right. How about another Pete Kelly
Sounds
interlude?
good to me.
All right.
Absolutely.
This one is called somebody called them mouth typos, and I love that. Mouth typos. I have many mouth typos. Lycanthrope. I will get that word out. Lycanthrope.
Lycanthrope. Gotcha.
This one's called Lycanthrope. I run into the wind with a roar in my ears, parting the air without a sound to be heard, negotiating nature's dangers without loss of pace, at one with the contours of this nocturnal world. I rest upon a rock of stout resolution, overlooking landscape time has transformed, a throne of unchanging aspect from which I call for my kindred to gather to me once more. A song from glinting reflections of silvery light, joyous in the unity of we free-spirited souls, brought together by the rising of this very jewel that liberates a desire oh so natural. We look to the lights of the newcomers, grazing upon a security of settlement, like chickens in a pen, headless when scared. Their disbelief is such entertainment. We vanish silent as a falling leaf, for as myth only can the werewolf endure. So when the moon rises and a singing you hear, 'tis just the wolves howling, nothing more. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice.
I have a thing about werewolves. I actually have something in my Google Docs, spoiler alert, called Beatnik Werewolf, where I'm trying to write werewolf poetry, and it's kind of like, gotta revisit, gotta go see, but I love that. I'm going to be revisiting Pete's reading of that as I try to become inspired to revisit that project. Awesome.
I think that he's got these available publicly. Yeah, he does. So I can actually share that in the chat.
Yes. Grand.
There we go. Yeah, I just realized we have people in Twitch watching, and we have people on Twitter watching, and we have people on Facebook. No, I'm sorry, YouTube watching. And so I just realized that they're not seeing all the conversation.
Right.
I'm seeing all the conversation. I think you can see the conversation. So yeah, I need to remember to share the comments so that all the platforms can see it.
So. Welcome.
And Pete, nice. I'm not sure if Pete is married or not. I think he is, but he just got a proposal from Nina. So romance happening right here. Hot Soho movement getting hotter.
Matchmaker. I love it. Well, that is groovy. I'm going to quickly read my 2 haikus.
Yes.
For just news flash, okay? Blixa Bargeld, one of my big muses from the upcoming art rates, which is really available quite soon. Got his first haircut since the pandemic started. So he posted it on Instagram, something like @BlixaOfficial, or a slash in between, I don't remember, but look that up. But since I don't have a picture of it, I will definitely right this minute read you my 2 haiku that describe it, okay? Berlin waterfall, someone got to shampoo that gunmetal curtain. That was the first one. Alternate version, Berlin waterfall, whose faded fingers washed that cascade of pewter? I thank you at the end. 2 haiku.
I like this. Yes, very. I love
Do you see it?
What was the curtain again? Like, say that line again. The waterfall.
The gunmetal curtain.
Gunmetal curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. So do everyone check out that haircut.
I will.
Very, very Blixa, because he's sort of sometimes feminine and sometimes masculine and the rest. But anyway.
Yeah. And then we've had that discussion before about it's a spectrum.
Yeah, it's there are so many ways to express beauty and express life that as poets, we're not going to really put a whole lot of holds barred,
Yeah.
So that's just how 'tis, artists and poets. And
I have a surprise for you.
Okay,
That is going to spark joy for me.
Oh, goody gumdrops.
I just went and looked on Amazon.
Oh,
Art rates is, oops, I can't click. Trying to click on the wrong screen. Art rates is up right now, people. For 99 cents. Well, there's a paperback too version coming, right?
There will be a paperback in the next day or
because they take longer.
They do. This is the ebook is 99 cents. The illustrations are in it. I mean, I put a lot of artwork in it. That's Roland S. Howard on the cover from when I did the 7 Singing Men portrait series.
I thought that looked familiar.
So yeah, that is poems of songs of searing devotion. So that, if you really just want to have a nice, hey, summer's coming, let's be indulgent.
Yeah.
Art rates. Wow,
I'm ordering that now. Well, I Googled it while you were reading, found this. I'm going to order it, but I'm not going to order it on screen because last time I flashed my address, I'm still editing that video. So, I'm going to pull this down. But yeah, that is going in my Kindle right now. And then when it's live in paperback, I will be getting it.
Oh, thank you, Angela. This is the one I had worries when I was publishing it, and these were my worries. Not any of the poems, because this is kind of like you put in a nickel and what comes out. But as I always say, but it was more oh no, this is my favorite collection of poetry ever. When I try to do Transfusion Poetica or whatever, I'm gonna be so bored because it's not this one. So we'll see if any of those poems make the cut after art rates. That's just how it is.
That's the thing though. Everything I think I ever you finish it and it's that's the best thing ever. And then you start the next project, you're like, no, that's junk. This is the best thing ever.
Because we grow and we are exposed to other things and just where life is. It's true. That's why I didn't wait till September, because I've got it in my mind that's very self-indulgent and I should save it till September. But the truth is, I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. There could be so many things I discover that, like you said, makes a dog of this one, which hard to imagine because it's about my favorite post-punks and also British invasion muses. But so dig in.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm excited. It's a hoot.
I want to do a little push here because we all know about the little poetry books. Look at my collection.
Yeah, I'm so glad you sent some.
I know, getting tons of these. John Reinhardt, who did the first one, always have to give him credit for this idea. Focus, or maybe not. It's called Timing by John Reinhardt.
I see. It looks good to me.
Yeah, signed. And then he sent me just a bunch, and there's all varieties. Here's somebody just hand drew one. Somebody used cut and paste collage and then photocopied.
Yes.
Another kind of that style.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
There's
beautiful
the one that I did that's in there. Another hand-drawn one. This is the one Jessie Wolf did. She made this on Canva. And I read this a couple of days ago. Oops. And she put her own photography in it. This one, who did this one? Hello, Klaus.
There might be 100 portraits of Klaus out there somewhere.
Yeah, by a certain Amy Zoellers.
I left those all over town on his birthday, everybody. Independence, Missouri. So
this is one of the original John Reinhardt ones that I had picked up.
Whiz.
Don't eat the food. That's mine.
I have that one.
Yeah, this one is another one. So many of these. Another hand-drawn one that's actually mine. And then the blank one that I always do as an example. But John Reinhardt in that package. And I didn't share this when I opened that book mail because it dropped out and I didn't see it because this is a book. He took a matchbook cover, ordinary matchbook, took the matches out and made it a little poetry book.
Just
how incredible is that?
I love it. I want to
little
try
illustrations. Yeah, I'm going to be hunting. Where do we even get these anymore? These match?
Yes.
But I'm going to look for all of them.
No kidding. We're going to find some of those. That is so cool.
So I thought that was so cool. So that address to send me your one paper poetry books should be in this description. But it's, P.O. Box 214, Independence, Missouri 64051. And yeah, send me that. And then, yeah, I love these. I want to fill this office with those. Look how empty my bucket is right now. It needs to be so much more.
Grow that collection.
Being greedy here. Send me these. So love that though.
I do too. Oh, way to go, everyone.
Yeah. So I love that match. I can't wait to go find a matchbook. Like where are those even anymore? But
we're gonna have a quest for matchbooks.
I'll be at 7-Eleven. I'll just be like, oh, I'll have all of these. Thank you.
Exactly. We'll go to nightclubs and cocktail lounges and just be like, I'm just checking some of these.
You want a drink? No, I want 10 matchbooks.
Yeah. I think you can have them made, but that might be like, I don't know how that works. We'll see. We'll look into that. You can have them made with like your info on them or like your title of your little poetry collection. Oh my gosh. The world is opening up again. I'm getting drunk on it. That's all that I need right there.
Yeah.
How it goes.
Well, yeah, and that's the funny thing is I have that because I was just talking to the Williamette writers, which is that young group. So I was showing them the different things you can do with poetry. And since it's still right here and not on my wall again, so that's a little way to show your poem. And then this is the other thing that I've done with poetry. I have to take these off for a second.
Ooh, big blackout. Check it out. Easily angered. So it looks like a great big blackout poem. What it looks like is from the love chapter of First Corinthians. Okay, when you've got your earbuds on, I'm going to ask you that.
Never realized how big that thing is until
that is big.
Yeah, that was somebody threw that away. It's I think it's Corinthians, and I can't remember the verse.
First Corinthians 13, the love chapter is what it looks like.
Yeah, the famous one. And so somebody had thrown that away, and so I was like, "That's a poem. That's a blackout poem waiting to happen." So,
that's so awesome! So you
weird
took
and
like
fun ways.
Art.
Yeah, with your original poem on a painting. So
awesome! Well, I love it. Yeah, you can go large scale. That's wicked. I love it.
So yeah, and that's what it was called, Redacted Love, because. And it was supposed to be a little statement about like, when people say love and they don't walk the walk, that's kind of what it was about. It's like, now do it.
Yeah.
So, but what have you got? That was like my my feel of big and little poetry.
I like it. Let me go ahead and read another from Jim. I don't know where I put my glasses. Oh, here they are. Okay. This is called, as usual, the puzzle of the heart by the mind. The nature of yourself against a tableau of ourselves reveals a quest, a thirst for all that is right. You want to know that the choices you made were sound and fit the constructs of your birth origin blueprint. Mother does this, father does that, etc. So there's a nice one. As usual, the puzzle of the heart shaped by the mind. It is a puzzle, Jim.
Nice. Good job, Jim.
So thank you, Jim. Keep them coming.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you for always like contributing. You know what I mean? Like being part of that community, an active part of that community.
Exactly. So that is great stuff.
And Nina says, clap, 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 clap.
Thank you, Nina, for always like encouraging us.
Yeah, Nina is a champion. Not only just here, but doing, Siren's Call. That is like such an enormous resource for writers of all levels.
Yeah. So, when Siren's Call, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say I would not have a Stoker nomination if it weren't for Siren's Call, because that was the place I could put that, that market, that accepting market that would publish that essay.
I love Siren's Call. When it comes out, it's like, it's such a feast. It's so beautiful to look at. The artwork is glorious. The way that they lay it out is beautiful. And it's so big, because it's 4 times a year or something. And so it's such a great, it's like a feast. I need to get an iPad just for Siren's Call because or I could read it on the computer. It's just so beautiful.
I don't know if I've ever actually finished a whole one because there's always so much packed in there.
There's a lot.
And then there's a new
cool.
one. So, but yeah, it's always good to have extra rather than not enough.
And it's beautiful to look at, and it's always a treat, and it's quality writing. I enjoy reading those fiction stories so much, and the poetry, of course. Oh my goodness!
So and the art. I think there's always a featured artist, or usually a featured artist. So
the art is always so evocative. It's just perfect for what you're.
Sorry, Nina, we're putting you on the spot and cooing about you because you're awesome.
We're gonna do it. Yep, we're doing it. Yep, because fire and skull's a blessing. What can I say? But that's true. All right.
I will actually look up that. I will share that in the chat, whatever that is. The mouth typos, web address, the intranet.
The interwebs.
Yeah,
the interwebs. A lot of change at our age, It's changed a lot. They used to call it this. I frustrate my teen son, but he's getting more and more patient with me.
Oh yeah, they have a call going right now.
Yep. Call.
There we go. Easing.
On my mind.
Yep. So it is sirenscallpublications.com. Easy.
Yeah.
And I am going to share that in chat, and then I will show it. That's where you guys go. They do take reprints, which is always amazing because you get second life for your pieces. They take poetry, fiction, nonfiction. Go check out the call. Open until May 15th right now.
Yeah. So you got time if you've got something that you've been working on, or maybe you can just cook it up in magical alchemy between now and then.
Just cook it up right now.
Right now, you are now inspired by Cake and Hyperbull. All of the wonderful poetry that has flowed through our hands here today of our contributors. So good, so good. Love it.
What have we got next? I know I have one more Pete video.
Okay.
And if we have time, I'll read the pantoum that I just built with the Williamette writers, which are all middle school and high school writers, and we built a poem together.
I love it.
And that was fun.
I'm excited for both.
All right, what you got? Wait, is it my turn or your turn?
I think it's your. Yeah, I read Jim.
Oh, right.
You can play a Pete or read your pantoum, and I'll read one just to wet everybody's lips for art rapes. So that's me. It's coming. Right. You can get the Kindle right now. So
yeah, that is so cool that happened right here.
I love that you found that. That was killer. Oh.
All right, here is a Pete. This is the final Pete of the day. So prepare. Fan yourself because it's about to get hot. Here it comes.
Gonna clutch my pillow. Here we go.
Oops. Nope, not that one. Stop. Go back.
Tag wars. I know. I sympathize.
All right, let me go back. Okay, here we go. After that drum roll. All right.
Whew. We had an extra moment to prepare, which is good.
Yeah. Now, here's Pete Kelly.
This last one is A Walk in the Woods. Marks a year since this was accepted for publication by Angela at Space and Time magazine. This is a thank you because this has really helped raise my level. Thank you. Yeah. A Walk in the Woods. Under a ceiling of oppressive cloud, the night brings out a doubtful fear. Movement is momentary, peripheral, with subtle sounds to think you hear. Eerie harmonics of a chill wind playing. Icy fingers penetrate clothes to stroke skin. Trees toy at shadow play in the gloom, twisted anew with every bolt of lightning. Thunder swells, rolling over failing nerve, riding up your spine with a banshee wail. Footfalls increase with clumsy momentum, as upon a ship in a tempestuous gale. Unseen eyes watch your progress, hungry. Twigs are snapped to keep your attention, sensing the heightened heartbeat of fear, and sending out to others a bloody invitation. Like all good things, this playtime must end, and suddenly the wood is quiet and deathly still. The moment of insanity, a pearl in the oyster, as bursting from storybooks, we become real. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome shout out for space and time.
Yeah.
But also
I remember
a very
that poem
enjoyable.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. A very enjoyable poem. Very right in there. Woo.
Yeah.
I was in the dark woods the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was
Fun.
Linda Addison found Pete and accepted that poem.
Nice.
So yeah. That's
joy.
We're lucky. That's part of that whole building each other up thing, and we all win.
It is. Yeah, for real. Just learning from each other. Do you want to read your pantomime, or do you want me to read the art rates, or how do you want to do it?
Well, you know what? Let's finish with art rates, so that can be kind of like the, like as Nina says, love Angela's look when you said wet lips, and I do remember kind of going like, wet lips, poetry.
That's right. We gorge on the poetry. We cannot stop ourselves. True.
Yeah. So I would like art race to be the aftertaste. So I will read Williamette Writers, and I'd actually like to try this next month on Cake and Hyperbull, and mostly because we need to be able to watch the chat to do this.
Yes.
But I did this. This will be the second one. So last week I built a pantomime from chat comments. So we built this poem together, and I cheated by doing the A, B, C, D so that I can keep track of it. So we just built this one like a couple of hours ago in the Williamette Writers thing. I got to talk to them, and they're fresh poets, middle school, high school, like that, raw right there in the thick of life kind of thing.
Getting all that emotion started. Yeah.
So all of these lines are from them. They were putting them in chat, and I just love how great the poetry turns out like this when a community builds it.
Yeah.
So not really a title because, we built it in chat, but Williamette Writers. Pencils snapping, paper ripping, the words flow like water, thoughts sprawled out across the page. Any idea is a good idea. The words flow like water, words black as the night. Any idea is a good idea, thoughts bright as the sky. Words black as the night, words full of color and inspiration. Thoughts bright as the sky, fitting together like a web. Words full of color and inspiration. Words of triumph and sorrow, loss and gain. Thoughts as bright as the sky. Words that can heal any lost soul that will lead the way to success. And that is their poem.
Oh, wow. I love how the pantomime through rearrangement of beautiful words flows in this like song, I love that.
And it makes its own meaning.
Yeah.
And so this is I cheat, and I have like a little thing because it's the second line becomes the first line, and then the last line becomes the third line of the next, and you just rinse and repeat. And when I was trying to build the pantomime the first time, I found conflicting reports of what the pattern is. So I don't know actually what the pattern is. I went with the Poet's Glossary, which is here.
And I've got mine right to hand. Hey.
I have to say thank you to Amy for having mine.
I love this
book. So I went with what Edward Hirsch said. That's what I went with.
Sonnets are that way too. It just depends on, is it an Italian sonnet or like an English sonnet? And so, you just pick one. You pick the one that's working for you that day.
I go with what he says.
Yeah, we love Edward Hirsch and his Poet's Glossary. That is a fun trip for sure.
So that's next month. Everybody be prepared to write poetry together as a Cake and Hyperbull community.
Yes. I'm going to make a note so I don't forget to join in. Pantomime in June. Oh my gosh, it's going to be June.
Yeah.
CNH. Cool.
Well,
I love it.
Now, celebrating a fellow poet's newest venture into the publishing world.
Yes. Art rates. by Amy Zoellers, now available on Kindle, in a few hours to a day or two, available in paperback on Amazon. And I'm going to read one called Universe, sung. Let us have drinks, half naked, New Year's Eve, and take the words apart. Let us display them on the braided rug before the fire and shuffle these interchangeable parts to rewire the universe. I shrug off the dark depths, wriggle from the abyss. We surmise which institutions are bullplop. We have invented a new funeral flower. For this color, we have no word. This gender is expressed in musical notes. The honey-haloed weirdos do not bother to comb their hair. It flies, glorious and wild. It points to heaven, flame-like. The honey-haloed misfits are perfectly capable of kicking your ass. It is part of their tree rings. They are raised to it. They are so wired. Thus are they wild. But it falls by the wayside. They are here with their music. They pour fierce and certain gemstones into microphones, where it is a crime to swallow your song. This life is expressed in song. All must be sung. It is entirely song.
Wow.
Never sung. So yeah, there's a lot of like gushing on music and emotion in art rates. So if that's up your alley, do check it out.
I cannot wait to get this whole collection. Well, I'm sorry, I do have the whole collection on my phone right now, but I can't wait to get the whole paperback collection as well.
I love to hold it in my hands. Yeah.
It's weird. I like to read paper poetry, poetry on paper, but I read almost everything on ebook. But poetry, for some reason, I just like to savor. So
yeah, I have this thing from having, and I know we've discussed this before, having come to computers in the 80s and 90s as a child and then as a teenager, and having things vanish out from under me. I really enjoy a hard copy because I have tech anxiety. So I have Carrie by Stephen King on my phone right now from the library because a friend of mine from school, we're going to read it across the miles and talk about it, reread it. But it's like, you know, that's okay. I didn't have to go spend money on it, and it's not a problem, but it's like poetry, I got to have it in my hands and on all of these shelves behind me. Oh, fun.
Well, awesome. This is Nina's comment. I will say it was a tremendously wonderful poetry month with you, Amy. I really enjoyed that.
More than mutual. I enjoyed it so much. We would meet up at Monday nights at our pottery class and just be like, oh my gosh, everybody, poetry. If anybody cares, we don't care if you care. Guess what? We did this. And we just talk about our poetry with each other. It was so much fun. And our lives, our live streams, and our you know, stuff. Like I put out a bunch of like chapbooks that you can find on Coffee, and then there's also Ordeal and French Lipstick. It's been a prolific sort of release time. So
I have my copy here because I was showing it off to the Williamette writers. This was, by the way, made on Author Papyrus.
Yes,
so
it was
that program that we were talking about.
Yep, Angela did that, and then I learned from that to do the one that I did these last few days, the art rates. So you know what? If you've got something to say, you should try it. You know, if you've got some poetry or prose to share, it's pretty cool.
And I agree. Nina says nothing beats the smell of ink. I will say that is true.
We have worked in libraries. We wholeheartedly agree. Yeah,
and paper.
Yeah.
Which, before we close out, I'm going to tell you kind of a surprise, but not really a surprise. It's just the way it works out. But, you know, I know you're just as crazy as me. So when we're at pottery and we talk about poetry, I think I mentioned I took my daily show that I was doing for Poetry Month and I decided to continue it. But instead of doing it at noon, because that's like way too early for some of us, I'm just having it at 8:00 at night. It may wind up being a midnight poetry thing. Or midnight, it's not just poetry, it's just writing stuff in general. May wind up being a midnight hour thing because that is a good hour for me.
Ooh, I love it.
For right now, it occurred to me that on Monday nights, 8:00, we're at pottery together. And I was like, oh, well, I can't do it on Monday. Well, yeah, I can.
You could.
So
it's brief. We could either do it with our fellow potters or step out onto the sidewalk.
That's what I'm going to do. And I was kind of like, and I have a poet friend that is there at pottery with me, poet pottering. And so, so I was thinking you might be willing to join me on Monday nights. In that case, I probably will keep it at 8 because, you know, that's pretty precious.
We never do it in the same space except that one time when we were in the graveyard, but it was COVID. We were across the graveyard from each other. And so that will be a pleasure.
Yeah, we will be interacting for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Together on one screen.
Right. So don't miss that. Yeah, that would be like day after tomorrow. So
yeah,
awesome.
that is.
I'm in.
I figured you would be, but it is polite to ask before you drag somebody into something.
I'll be like clay on my face. Sure, Angela, let's go. Yeah. I'm a beginner's beginner.
Yeah. So I love everything that is happening. I love the people that are joining us. I love the people that are sending us their work. I love seeing how we're all expanding and growing together. And we got a thing here. We're doing this, everybody. This is our community.
Yes. Everyone, just embrace that and keep it coming, keep going, and get your stuff out there. Or just watch, and then dive in when you're ready, if you're ready, or if you just soak it in, So, because there are definitely seasons and chapters for both. It's just so much fun. All right. Awesome. Well, we did it again. Put the poetry out there. Thanks to you all.
And mostly on time.
We might have been on our pre-call going, oh, wait, it's like 5 because we were talking about this. That's why we do that before, so we can keep it a little more streamlined, and we have gotten better. I think that when we first started doing Third Sunday poetry, we'd be 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, mostly talking about our nails or something. Or, I did this thing. Look.
And so then my cat,
I have unicorn glug. We're just everything.
I know. We love life, and we love to talk about it and then write about it. So that's how that's part of the process. All right, gang. Well,
thank you,
Angela, for making this happen today.
Always.
And
thank
all
you
of
for
your support.
being the spark that originally set all this in flame.
Amy has a lot to say, and she just needs a platform. So, not enough minutes in the day to quote, whoever did that song. I want to say it wasn't Spark, it was somebody else. But anyway, all right, gang. Happy weekend, and thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.